What's good, YouTube, and welcome to 7 things you don't know you're doing wrong in CS2. Before we get into the video, I also just want to say that the map that I'm using right now is provided to me by Refrag.gg. If you go down and use my code below, you get 15% off your first month, and I'll also link 10 free trial codes below for you guys to use. Now, the first thing I see a lot of players getting wrong is, let's say you're playing a high-impact spot like Cat, Window, or Con. You're going to have majority of the information at the beginning of the round, so you're going to need to communicate to your A player, your Window player, your Cat player, whatever. Let's say I'm the Con player, and I'm going to have to say what my information is on mid. Let's say the T's by default, which currently, if you're playing at a high level, this will generally happen, where the T's will be smoking window and they'll be smoking off connector. If I'm a Cat player, I don't care if my Con player is smoked off. He needs to tell me what information he has and doesn't have. So let's say I'm the Con player and I get smoked. I'm not going to say they smoked me Con. I'm going to be saying I cannot see mid, I don't have info on mid, or one of those things that will convey that I don't have information a connector player normally would have. Because from your teammate's perspective, the Cat player, he's going to be coming up. Oh, I hear one upper B. I'm flashing over mid. I'm coming up here. If you're over here in Con saying they smoked me Con, this isn't conveying that the Con player doesn't have any information. Yes, you can assume he won't have information, but that's just another step for the Cat player to have to process in his mind while he's trying to focus on all this other stuff. This is especially important if you're the Window player. So many times I'll see the Window player say, oh, I'm smoked window. They'll either say it late or they'll say it when they're running around here, and they won't tell the Cat player, the Con player, they can be out mid. This comm, they can be out mid, is one of the most important comms in the round, and the reason why is because if the T's can be out mid, you want to know that information as quick as you can, so then the Cat player and Con player don't accidentally grief by coming out here when they think the Window player has mid information. Now, sort of tying into this concept, the second thing I see a lot of players get wrong is they think they're an opper. Majority of the time, 80% of the time, because there will only be one opper on every single team, 80% of the time, you're probably not going to be an opper, and I'll tell you why. First off, the opper needs to be good with the gun. The opper needs to be able to hit shots consistently, hit flick shots, stay focused on an angle for a long period of time, and on top of that, play rotates that make sense for an opper. Let's say I'm the Window player, I start window, and I get smoked off. Where do I rotate? Do I rotate top Con? Do I go stair? Do I go to B? Do I go around CT? There's all these options, and opper's going to have to know what to do in every single situation. Secondly is vocalizing those rotates. So let's say I'm window, I start, I get smoked, and I just run around the map, right? If I'm rotating spawn, that means that my A player could actually just walk into A site, and now we'd have a strong A hold. But if I don't say anything, I rotate around CT, he might be late into the rotate. This might be when the T's are trying to come out onto site, and this can just ruin a round pretty easily just by the Window player not being vocal enough. Now, the other issue I see with Window players is they won't switch up where they go. They'll go window every single round and say, wow, I have this cool nade that will blow up the window smoke. That's awesome, but if you do it every single round, the T's aren't going to peek until they hear you nade. This means that a lot of rounds you're going to have to play from different places other than window. If I spawn over anywhere here and I don't have a great window spawn, I've been nading window smoke, I've been going window every single round, the T's are going to expect me to be in window. So I'm going to come around ramp, I'm going to go around Con. If they smoke Con every round like I was talking about before, I can try and pick them coming out mid. Let's say they've been running to chair every round after you nade the smoke. You can come over towards Cat. You can hold this pixel angle on chair. As long as you scope deep, the upper B guy won't hear you. You walk up into this angle, you post, and this could be a free kill for you. Basically, the two most important things for an opper is moving around the map to keep the T's guessing and communicating to your team where you're going so they can play around you. Now, the third thing is something we've all experienced. Let's say you're playing a pug and you're a B player or a Cat player and your A player keeps dying. This sucks, right? You feel like you have to go towards A to help him out because he keeps getting ran over. But if you're going over towards A and you tell him to just go play Cat, go play B, go play wherever you were playing, you should be asking him for information on what the T's have been doing. And more often than not, it might be better to actually double up with your teammate so then you at least have one person on the site with a grasp on what the T's have been doing and what they might do in the future. You basically want to make a plan on the bomb site because if your A player keeps getting abused, then the T's are probably doing something right and doing something consistently enough to kill your A player, and he'll probably know what the reads were. And once again, like all my videos, this is going to tie into percentages. Do you think you're going to win around more often than not if you're playing with or without a plan? Obviously, it's going to be with a plan. So instead of booting that A anchor off of the site, try and play with him and help him and work out something that will work for you guys specifically. Now, this next concept I want to talk about is called magic numbers. And basically what magic numbers are is you see how I'm on 3,400 loss bonus right here. I need $4,900 to be able to buy AK armor full utility, which means that if we were to do a little bit of math, I need $1,500 left over for me to be able to get a full buy next round, which means I can probably buy a deagle. I can buy armor. Nope, can't actually buy a deagle. Let me buy a Tech 9 and maybe I'll get a flash. Nope, because a flash would take me below 1,500. And now what this means is next round, if we were to lose, I will be able to get a full buy here. And we probably will lose this round because my team, if we're all on a save or all on a half buy, we would all have, oh my god, we would all have pistols. We should be losing this round, which means we should be getting the $3,400 loss bonus, which means we all should have $4,900, enough for a full buy. Now, this number will change for oppers. It will be a little different based on if you are okay with opping without head armor. Do you prefer an op over full util, etc., etc.? But for the most part, if you're a rifler, you want to stay above 1,500 when you have a $3,400 loss bonus. Now, on the contrary, let's say you have a $2,900 loss bonus, right? So you've lost 3 rounds straight. That means you can put $500 on top of the $1,500 I was talking about. So now you can buy down to $2,000. Let's say you had $3,500 and you want to stay above 2,000. You can buy down $1,500 worth of util or guns or pistols, and you can still have enough for the next round. But at its core, this is what all good players follow when calculating how they should be buying, how much money they should have into the next round, and getting the most you can out of your half-buy rounds. Now, the fifth thing I'll see players doing wrong is they'll be throwing utility without knowing if it will hit. So many times in my pugs, I'll hear players say, oh, I have window smoke, I think. And then after they throw it, they'll say, 50% chance that hits, right? Your entire team who's going to be going mid is not going to feel secure in the round that they're playing because this smoke might not be here. They might use more flashes. They might smoke top mid from close. And like your teammate said, yeah, 50% of the time, the guy going out top mid is going to get opt from someone window. So please, please, please either learn the utility so you know it 100% or don't throw it at all. Sometimes trying to throw utility you don't know will be worse than not knowing it in the first place. The sixth mistake I'll see people making is they won't call where they're going on T side. If you're in a pug, it's not very common that people will start the game by saying, I'm going to default B, I'm going to default underpass, 2 people will call their defaulting mid, and then 1 guy will call their defaulting A. This doesn't really happen in pug. So every single round, if you're normally going towards B, and let's say you want to go towards underpass, you want to go towards top mid this round, say it. Because if I'm a mid player and my B player who's been going B every round hasn't said anything, I'm going to assume he's going B again. If he ends up coming towards mid, well, shoot, we could have coordinated a better mid take. We could have known we had more numbers in mid, which means we could have set up the round in mid a lot differently, a lot better, because we do have 3 people now. So in short, just say where you're going. It's not going to hurt your team at all. Now, the seventh and last thing I want to talk about is not throwing util, right? Let's say you're on T side and you're spending, $1,200 on smoke, molly, flash, nade, and you're going to go towards Palace. Palace isn't really seen as a place where you're going to be using a ton of nades because people normally use it for lurking. If you're lurking, you don't want to be known, so you don't want to throw utility to give away where your position is. This doesn't mean, however, you need to save all of your utility in Palace. Let's say your team's doing an execute or they're trying to split up connector. Now, let's say you got spotted, you accidentally took a fight on a stair guy, they spotted you, under Palace guy heard you, maybe you made a step. Now you know that they know that you are in Palace. Now that your cover is blown, this is your time to use your utility. You can throw something like a Palace lurk smoke, you can molly under Palace, you can throw a flash into stair so that if your teammates are coming up bottom stair and they come out, they can kill any con players, they can kill any stair players. And once this lurk smoke goes up, you essentially become a turret for utility. You can just come out here, you can flash for your team, you can molly under Palace, you can support your team to do whatever they want to do. On the flip side, let's say I'm a con player and the T start executing towards A. I still have my smoke, maybe I still have a flash. What am I going to do in this scenario? Am I going to A, save my smoke for the retake when I know my window player and my B player and possibly my cat player will be rotating in with potentially 3 smokes? Or am I going to drop my smoke in front of their jungle smoke or in front of their top con smoke to try and slow down the T's execute? From a T side, imagine if you're doing an A execute and you see this smoke. You have to go a little bit slower. You have to be more worried about these angles. Maybe you nade the smoke just to see if anyone's behind it. You have to molly behind it. Maybe you have to use an extra flash. There's a ton of question marks around the smoke that's been thrown by the CTs. And even with that, it's still not a bad smoke to play around. A lot of the concepts I talk about with using utility is getting creative. You want to understand the map enough to the point where you give yourselves opportunities to be creative with your utility. You're spending roughly $1,000, potentially $1,400 on CT side, so you're going to want to know how to use the utility to its max effectiveness. Basically, what I'm trying to say is get creative and don't let your utility go to waste if you're spending so much money on it every single round. Anyway, that's going to be it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. I do have coaching on my Twitch, which I'll link down below. I also do it on Medify, which I will also link down below. I stream Monday through Friday, 1 to 5 p.m. EST if you want to come stop by and see what's going on. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.